There is an established trend of people moving out of cities towards the countryside. This practice is prominent among retirees and passive earners. By relocating to rural areas, individuals and families can generally benefit from cheaper homes or larger homes at more affordable prices. But this shift is not only to ease financial burdens, but also a range of other lifestyle changes. Europe's rural landscapes are extraordinarily varied, allowing retirees to match their ideals precisely. Mediterranean havens in the south offer sun-soaked hills, vineyards, and olive groves, promoting outdoor living, leisurely gastronomy, and vibrant traditions. Alpine regions in the interior parts deliver crisp air, dramatic peaks, and orderly charm suited to hiking and seasonal rhythms, while eastern gems provide historic authenticity, folklore, and affordability. In this video, we have curated a selection of Europe's most compelling regions for rural living and retirement. While undeniably rural in character, these areas are not isolated or underdeveloped. Reliable healthcare is accessible in nearby regional cities. High-speed internet connects you to the world, and amenities like quality groceries, specialty shops, or cultural events are just a short, scenic drive away. You can settle into a stone cottage or a small-town homestead, tend a garden if the mood strikes, and still pop into a larger metro area for routine checkups, fine dining, or international flights. So with all that in mind, here are the best rural regions to live or retire in Europe. Number 12, Piedmont, Italy. Tucked into northwestern Italy, right amidst the Alps, Piedmont features rolling vineyards, hazelnut groves, medieval hill towns, and understated elegance. From quaint villages located in the wine region to cities with impressive culinary traditions, this part of the country is sure to delight those who love the outdoors. Mornings begin with mist, settling over vineyard-covered hills. Villages revolve around local markets and cafes, and community life remains intact without feeling insular. Most of its small towns are centered around stone cottages, farmhouses, and country houses rather than tourist backdrops. Yet practicality never takes a back seat. You're connected to modern essentials without compromising the rural idyll, with its regional capital, Turin, just an hour's scenic drive away, delivering world-class hospitals, international airports, and high-end shopping, while smaller hubs like Alba or Asti can provide daily groceries, pharmacies, and routine care effortlessly. From a property standpoint, Piedmont hosts one of northern Italy's most diverse inventory. Purchasing a rural home, whether a restored cottage, a farmhouse, or a small homestead, is both practical and financially rational. Zoning and land use regulations are clear, renovation culture is well established, and the region attracts thoughtful international communities year-round. Number 11. South Bohemia, Czech Republic. The southern jewel of the Czech Republic, South Bohemia, is decked with fairy tale castles and towns perching above rivers, forests, and countless shimmering ponds. The climate is continental, crisp and refreshing, with cold, snowy winters and mild summers perfect for outdoor living. Though the language barrier can be an issue at first, as Czech isn't the easiest for English speakers, and in deeper rural areas, you'll encounter more locals relying on their native tongue, but the upsides are profound. Czechs are famously warm and pragmatic once you make the effort. Besides that, the younger generations and expat communities often bridge the gap with English. Regardless of its rural nature, South Bohemia is well connected. Its urban centers provide hospitals, modern healthcare facilities, universities, major supermarkets, and professional services. Prague, the country's capital, is easily accessible by road or rail, making specialized medical care, international travel, and cultural amenities easily reachable when needed. Property-wise, South Bohemia remains a buyer's haven for internationals. There are no restrictions on foreigners owning homes. Prices are far more approachable than Western Europe, and the buying process is straightforward. But it is highly advised to involve bilingual agents and lawyers for a smooth transaction. Number 10. Bavaria, Germany. Germany's largest region in terms of area, Bavaria's topography features Alps in the south, with rolling farmlands, lakes, and forests elsewhere. The lifestyle is tranquil and active at the same time. Lakes and Alpine foothills encourage outdoor living and cultural traditions, from local markets to seasonal festivals, remain very much alive. The climate varies, with the Alpines receiving snow in winters, while lower-lying rural areas enjoy moderate summers and clearly defined seasons. Cities such as Munich, Nuremberg, Augsburg, Regensburg, and Passau act as powerful regional hubs, offering world-class hospitals and every modern convenience one would expect in a first-world setting. Even from smaller villages, access to healthcare, supermarkets, public transport, and administrative services is efficient and dependable. That said, Bavaria is not without its downsides, particularly for foreign residents. Property prices are among the highest in rural Europe, reflecting the region's economic strength and desirability. Integration takes time, and fluency in German is not optional in rural settings. English is widely spoken in cities, but in villages, daily life still operates firmly in German. From an immigration standpoint, long-term living and retirement in Bavaria is straightforward for EU citizens. For non-EU nationals, such as Americans, Canadians, or Britons, there are long-term resident permits, which typically require proof of financial self-sufficiency and private health insurance. Number 9. Tyrol, Austria. Stretching across western Austria and dominated by Alpine valleys, soaring peaks, and impeccably preserved villages, Tyrol showcases a form of rural living that is disciplined, scenic, and quietly affluent. Compared to neighboring Swiss regions, Tyrol is certainly more affordable, particularly in housing and healthcare, yet it remains an expensive region by broader European standards. The capital of the region, Innsbruck, provides advanced healthcare facilities, hospitals, higher education, international transport links, and full modern amenities. Even smaller towns are well served by public transport, local clinics, and regional markets, ensuring that rural living does not equate to isolation. But keep in mind, there are noteworthy limitations for foreigners. Firstly, Austria maintains strict regulations on property purchases by non-EU nationals, particularly for agricultural land and second homes, often requiring regional approvals. Secondly, language can be an issue. While English is common in tourism-facing environments, rural life operates firmly in German. And last but not the least, Austria's residence permits operate on quota-based system. So long-term living or retirement for non-EU nationals typically requires a settlement permit supported by proof of sufficient income, comprehensive private health insurance, and secured accommodation. Number 8. Istria, Croatia. At the northern edge of the Adriatic Sea, the Istrian Peninsula is where Croatia quietly changes its tone. Unlike the heavily touristic stretches of Dalmatia, the region of Istria is more restrained, agricultural, and rural. Life here favors privacy and self-sufficiency, ideal for those who envision restored stone homes, small-scale farming, or simply space and silence. Summers are warm and dry, tempered by sea breezes near the coast, while inland areas remain slightly cooler. Pula acts as the region's primary service hub, with hospitals, larger supermarkets, administrative offices, and transport links. Moreover, foreigners can purchase real estate through regulated processes, often with legal assistance to ensure clean title, especially important with older rural properties. Coastal homes command higher prices, but inland villages still offer genuine value, especially for stone houses and agricultural land. English is widely spoken near the coast, but inland communities rely heavily on Croatian. Healthcare is solid, but not uniformly world-class outside major centers. And wages and services reflect Croatia's developing economy status. In terms of residency, EU citizens face minimal barriers, while non-EU retirees must navigate residency requirements tied to income, health insurance, and long-term stays. Number 7. Upper Carniola, Slovenia. Upper Carniola is the northwestern region of Slovenia, where the Julian Alps rise from emerald valleys. Lake Bled is the region's most recognizable image, but it is only a gateway to a broader landscape of alpine valleys, forests, rivers, and well-kept villages set against dramatic mountain backdrops. Places like Kranj, the regional center with its charming historic core and modern amenities, or smaller gems around Bled, have well-developed services and amenities while still retaining the authentic village feel. The climate is alpine fresh, invigorating summers for outdoor adventures, golden autumns, and snowy winters that transform the landscape into a wonderland, all with that clean, breathable air Slovenia is famous for. What elevates it even further is its seamless connectivity with the capital, Ljubljana, that sits just 30 to 60 minutes away, making city escapes effortless. Property ownership in Upper Carniola remains comparatively cheaper, especially when viewed against neighboring Alpine regions in Austria or Italy. Number 6. Occitanie, France. Stretching from the foothills of the Pyrenees to the Mediterranean coast, Occitanie combines relaxed southern French charm with rich cultural heritage. Compared with Provence or the Côte d'Azur, where prices are sky-high, Occitanie remains markedly more affordable, less performative, and far better suited to rural living or retirement. Towns and villages here provide solid local amenities, making daily life easy without the urban density. For advanced services, Toulouse, the dynamic regional capital, serves as the primary hub, just 1 to 2 hours drive from most rural areas, with excellent hospitals, international airports, high-speed trains, and vibrant cultural offerings. Foreign retirees are well established here, particularly from the UK. British communities are widespread in rural parts, a legacy of decades of relocation driven by affordability, lifestyle, and cultural compatibility. Buying rural property is very appealing for internationals. Non-EU buyers can purchase freely, and the market holds good value in restored farmhouses, small cottages, or properties with land for gardening and small-scale homesteading. Number 5. Nouvelle-Aquitaine, France. Bordering the Atlantic Ocean in the west and the Spanish border in the south, Nouvelle-Aquitaine is the largest region of France by landmass. Yet despite its size, it feels coherent rather than overwhelming. Just like the region of Occitanie, it has long attracted foreign residents, particularly British and Northern European retirees. Aside from the vineyards and rolling hills inland, it features a long stretch of coastline hugging the Atlantic Ocean, with plenty of coastal towns and beaches. People who prefer to lead a rural life here head to the Dordogne district and choose to either live near the city of Bergerac or opt for a small village in the countryside. Even from its smaller villages, access to hospitals, supermarkets, and administrative services is dependable. Moreover, rural properties in Aquitaine are cheaper than in other areas of France, and you can find some hidden gems and great restoration projects. But then again, prices vary greatly here. You might find a modest village house for under 100,000 euros in a rural setting, while prime real estate in Bordeaux or near the coast can easily climb into seven figures. Number 4. Andalusia, Spain. Located in the south of the Iberian Peninsula, Andalusia is the most populated and the second largest autonomous community in Spain. It is often introduced to the world through its coastline, sunlit resort cities, Mediterranean promenades, and a cosmopolitan rhythm shaped by tourism. But beyond the beaches lies one of Europe's most compelling rural interiors, a landscape that continues to shape how people live, eat, and relate to place. In its interior countryside, whitewashed villages cling to hillsides, olive groves stretch to the horizon, and life still revolves around local markets, long lunches, and community ties that feel intact rather than ceremonial. Areas such as the Alpujarras, Ronda, and its surrounding countryside, the hills of Jaén, parts of Córdoba province, and villages near Grazalema or Antequera offer exceptional settings for rural living or retirement. But then again, one does not have to choose between rural isolation and urban intensity. Living on the outskirts of cities such as Seville, Granada, Malaga, or Córdoba allows residents to enjoy semi-rural surroundings, orchards, small plots, village settings, while remaining minutes away from hospitals, international schools, cultural venues, and major transport links. To top it off, properties in its small villages and peri-urban zones are reasonably priced, be it a townhouse, a cortijo, or a small homestead. Number 3. Central Greece. With a population of almost 4.6 million people, Central Greece is the most populous geographical region, covering an area of 24,800 square kilometers. Its terrain features mountains, valleys, and long stretches of coast, with a culture that is urban and cosmopolitan at the same time. Its towns, such as Nafpaktos, Levadia, and Chalkida, blend seaside charm with urban convenience, while inland villages remain quieter and far cheaper to buy property. In compared to Athens or the islands, the culture is rooted in a mix of ancient heritage and rural traditions, with festivals, local markets, and a slower rhythm of life that many find grounding. Language is less of a barrier in near the capital where English is widely spoken. But in isolated rural parts, basic Greek helps integration. Property prices are very cheap, with median listings for a village house or a stone cottage being around 120,000 US dollars. Number 2, Alentejo, Portugal. Stretching from the outskirts of Lisbon down toward the Algarve, Alentejo is a land of cork oak forests, rolling plains, whitewashed estates, and villages. Over the past 2 decades, it has been receiving a steady number of discerning group of retirees, investors, and long-term residents. Towns such as Evora, Beja, and Elvas provide essential services, regional hospitals, markets, and cultural life without disturbing the rural character. While the capital, Lisbon, remains within reasonable reach, ensuring access to top-tier healthcare, international flights, and administrative services when required. Property ownership has long been one of Alentejo's defining advantages. Large plots of land, traditional quintas, and historic estates remain attainable by Western European standards. Many international residents have established working farms, olive groves, vineyards, or simply expansive private estates designed for long-term living rather than speculation. Apart from the countryside, it is home to several seafront communities where one can buy a newly built house overlooking the beach for under $300,000 to $1 million. Number 1. Tuscany, Italy. When it comes to rural living and retirement in Europe, Tuscany has always been at the very top of the list, not by reputation alone, but by merit. Its whole topography is made up of rolling hills, vineyards, olive groves, cypress-lined roads, and villages that have evolved slowly. At the same time, Tuscany also offers a coastal life through seaside towns along the Tyrrhenian coast, where rural calm meets the Mediterranean without the intensity of mass resort development. Tourism, of course, is present, and in certain towns it is highly visible. Yet this influence diminishes quickly once one moves into the interior. Residents from across Europe, North America, and beyond have settled here over decades, forming a global yet grounded community. This makes integration notably easier. Administrative systems are accustomed to foreign residents, services are multilingual, and social networks for newcomers are well established. The cost of living is broadly reasonable by Western European standards, particularly outside major urban centers. Property ownership, on the other hand, can be very expensive, which is mainly due to the region's global demand. Rural homes, farmhouses, estates, and village properties can command premium prices, especially in well-known areas. For buyers seeking similar landscapes, but with low price tags, neighboring Umbria has a comparable rural charm with reduced competition. Thanks for watching. If you find this video informative, be sure to leave a like. If not, then leave a dislike, and don't forget to subscribe for more amazing content.